PC gamers rejoice. Nvidia, in a rare turn of events, listened to the community and has decided to cancel the RTX 4080 12GB. Let's discuss that in this video. Hey, if you enjoy content like this, drop a like, make sure to subscribe, and smash that bell so you never miss another video. Hey, what is going on guys? Danny here, welcome back to the channel and I hope you've all been doing well. Yesterday I posted my review of the MSI RTX 4090 Gaming X Trio graphics card, so if you're interested in it, definitely check it out. I go over lots of info including thermals, gaming benchmarks, power consumption, and more. Now moving on to this video's topic, surprisingly out of nowhere, Nvidia has officially announced that it will be unlaunching the RTX 4080 12GB. They made an official post on their website. I'll have a link to it in the video description. Nvidia said the following: the RTX 4080 12GB is a fantastic graphics card, but it's not named right. Having two GPUs with the 4080 designation is confusing, so we're pressing the unlaunch button on the 4080 12GB. The RTX 4080 16GB is amazing and on track to delight gamers everywhere on November 16th. Nevertheless, you know Nvidia, with every post or announcement, they have to stroke their ego a bit, so the rest of the article had pictures of people lined up at retailers waiting for the 4090, and of course we also have the box and car seat with seatbelt pick. Oh my god. I'm not gonna lie, this was an unexpected turn of events. Nonetheless, to their credit, Nvidia has listened to the backlash and decided this is probably for the best. This doesn't mean that all of a sudden they are the good guys and they deserve praise. It really doesn't change the fact that Nvidia really tried to sell a 4070-ish class card for a whopping $900. It just means that this time around, everyone saw through the BS and called them out. This was something I stated in my initial launch coverage video, that the RTX 4080 12GB is a straight up scam, and everyone and their grandma is going to see through this facade. I've even talked to some of the most diehard Nvidia fanboys who only buy Nvidia and nothing else, and even they were not impressed with what Nvidia was doing with the 4080 12GB. This was a wise decision because had they gone through with the release of this variant, they would have gotten absolutely crucified by reviewers. Remember, the 4080 12GB is no way the same card as the 4080 16GB. This GPU has significantly less shaders, had a slimmer memory bus, and wasn't even based on the same GPU die. Some people were actually arguing that based on the specs and comparing it to previous gen cards, this could be called a 4060 Ti. Now, at the end of the day, I'm someone who judges the product based on the performance numbers. If the 4080 12GB was released and it was reliably matching or beating the 3090 Ti, then I would say yes, it deserves the 4070 name regardless of the spec. However, recently Nvidia did post some more official benchmarks showcasing the performance of the upcoming 4080 16GB and the now cancelled 4080 12GB. They tested a Plague Tale Requiem along with F1 2022 and Microsoft Flight Simulator. And in these benchmarks, we can see the 4080 12GB loses to the RTX 3090 Ti. Focusing on just the raw rasterization performance, in this first benchmark, the 3090 is about 19% faster than the RTX 4080 12GB. And in the rest of the benchmarks, while the margins close up a bit, it's still slower. If this card was actually launched and reviewed, people would have had an absolute field day with Nvidia, and the backlash would have gotten worse than it already was. So it was wise of them to actually reevaluate this card and say, okay, we might have messed up with this one, let's hold off on it for now and call it something with a more appropriate naming scheme. This is the kind of backlash Nvidia should have gotten back in 2016 when they did this with the GTX 1060. We're in this position now because they barely got any flack for it. They also do the same thing with laptop GPUs as well, naming products the same as the superior version, but it's inherently a totally different product with much worse performance is such an anti-consumer move. But I guess people are now starting to realize this is not going to fly anymore, so I guess, better late than never. I do feel bad for AIBs because a lot of them already had boxes and packages designed for the cards, marketing material was distributed, and now they're going to have to recycle the boxes, design new packaging, and then reflash the BIOS on these cards to whatever Nvidia decides it's going to be in the future. I say they should take the easier route and just re-sticker all the boxes rather than having to go through this whole mess. And I sure hope Nvidia helps them out financially because it's their fault. Looking on ahead, it'll be interesting to see what Nvidia does in the future with this GPU and how they market it. I mean, the cards were already sitting in warehouses ready to go, so it's not like they can scrap them, of course. I have a feeling that Nvidia will still chase after the higher margins and just rebadge this card as a 4070 Ti. They'll drop the price down to $799 and call it a day. Just considering the market conditions and everything else that's going on in the world, I think that's probably going to be the most realistic scenario for it. And you know what? I can actually see some reviewers out there praising them for this move, but I sure hope the rest of you know better, but we'll see what happens with that. I also think that the 4080 16GB needs an adjustment. The negativity surrounding the 12GB version distracted people from also realizing that the 4080 16GB is a terrible GPU. When the 1080 launched, its true MSRP was $699, $599 was its official MSRP, but because the founders cards were $100 more, the real MSRP was $699. Still, that was a 27% increase over the previous Gen 980, which launched at $550. According to Tech Power Up, the 1080 was about 50% faster than the 980, so I guess you could say the price increase was a bit justified. Looking at something more recent though, the 3080 was a whopping 67% faster than the 2080 and was actually slightly cheaper considering the Founders Edition 2080 sold for $799. Meanwhile, the Founders Edition 3080 did sell for $699 and some partner cards retailed for about $750 before the shortage got worse and the mining boom happened. But gen on gen, that was really good. The 4080 16GB, according to Nvidia's own numbers, is about 45 to 55% faster than the RTX 3080, but had a 72% increase to its MSRP. This card at most should have been $899 and not $1199. I sure hope that once this card releases, it receives the same sort of backlash and negativity that the 4080 12GB got, because it's not positioned right either. This could perhaps be what Nvidia wants. Reviewers will say forget about this card and just get a 4090. Either way, Nvidia still wins. If you guys found this video to be informative and entertaining, then leave a like. Let me know your thoughts and comments down below. Be sure to check out the video description for cool links and ways to support the channel, such as using my Amazon affiliate link. And if you're interested in seeing more content like this, then consider subscribing. I'd greatly appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for watching, take care, and I'll see you in the next one.